Hi guys, today I'll be making a short video about 7 avoidable mistakes that I've seen both friends that I fly with and also those that I teach how to fly drones make, and they are actually very avoidable mistakes, and I'm just going to make a quick tutorial on those mistakes and how to avoid them. Okay, the first and very important mistake that most people make is not registering their drone. Especially when you're flying in the US, you are required to register certain drones, especially the VIVITAR Aero View drones, or some of the latest drones. You are required to register them with the FAA. So you must register those so that you know that you are in compliance with the government, and you're following the regulations, so that if at all something happens, say you're involved in an accident or anything of that nature, at that end you will be covered. So first and foremost, you have to go to FAA.gov and register your drone with them. Okay, and the second one is starting to fly while your drone is not on a flat surface. That is a very, very common mistake. Some people hold their drone and then turn it on, or some people put it at an angle, and before trying to take off, that only causes it to drift. And once it drifts, sometimes the air that is being pushed up, that pushes the craft up, causes it to flip over. So to have a normal hover wherein the craft goes up, especially with the VIVITAR Aero View, once you turn it on, and you hit start, it goes up about 1.5 feet. It hovers, then you can continue to whatever direction you choose to go. But if it is at an angle, it will definitely flip over, most often than not. So you have to try to make sure that your drone is at a flat, on a flat surface before you start flying. Another very important mistake that I've noticed that people make is losing orientation, not knowing what direction the drone is going to go. You have the go up, go down, to the left, turn right, forward, reverse, go left, go right. If you lose orientation of where your craft is facing, where the front of the craft is facing, you definitely, maybe when you want to go left, it will go right, or when you want to go to the right, it will go to the left. And fortunately enough, with this particular drone, we have the red propellers. This red is it's the forward part of it, and the black propellers is the back part of it. So always make sure that the orientation is showing forward. It's going forward. That is, if it hovers, when you hit forward, it goes forward. And the red propellers need to be away from you, not towards you, for you to get that. And that way, once you're up in the air, you know exactly what direction your drone is facing, and then you know whether you want to go to the left or right. And if the craft is directly above you, the red lights, the red flashing lights, will tell you which direction is the forward position, which direction the craft will go when you hit the forward throttle. So that is very important. Make sure your orientation is right, and always make sure that it starts with your orientation being away from you. If you choose to start it this way, then you know that forward is going to come towards you and backward is going to go that way. Left is going to go to the right, and right is going to go to the left. It's as simple as that. But just to avoid any confusion, it's always good to allow it or start flying when the forward is facing away from you. So forward, backward, left, and right. Another common mistake that I see most people do, especially rookies, even some experienced people do, is crashing on takeoff. You see, they try to lift up the drone. Before it gets to 1-2 feet, boom, it turns over. What causes that is the ground effect. As the rotors turn, it pushes air down. That creates an air bubble beneath the craft. So if you do not give enough power, the drone hovers above that bubble that is created underneath, and then it causes it to turn. But if you give it enough power, it moves up and moves away from that bubble, so it causes it to hover and then balance itself. So while starting to fly, you must make sure that you give enough throttle. With the VIVITAR Aero, it is much easier to fly because it has this lift up button that is underneath the remote. Once you push the takeoff button, it automatically forces it to go up and it gets away from that bubble. But in the event of other little drones that do not have that technology in their system, you have to give high throttle. But fortunately enough, it is easily avoidable with this drone because it has that button. And some people make mistake. Instead of hitting this button, once you turn it on and the rotors start turning, instead of hitting the takeoff button, they try to move forward. They get confused and try to move forward. And once you try to move forward when the craft hasn't lifted up and is hovering normally, it causes it to turn and then it crashes. So with the VIVITAR Aero, make sure that you take off by hitting the takeoff button that is beneath the remote control. That is a very important step in taking off with this particular drone. And then the fifth one is letting your battery get too low. Once you take off and you're flying, with this particular drone, the manufacturer says that the battery would last there about 10 minutes. So you have to time yourself and make sure that by the time you're getting closer to 6, not more than 7 minutes, you're returning the drone towards you. One of the reasons is that you don't want the drone to be too far away from you that you cannot fly and bring back to where you would land it properly or safely. And another reason is you can lose your drone if it's too far away and the battery dies off. It will fall down. Some people lose their drone in the lake or in the ocean just because of that mistake. And some people have even suffered property damage or damage to or hurt somebody while flying the drone because they forget to bring their drone during a safe battery level. So I would recommend 7 minutes at the tops. Bring your drone, let it be closer to you, not too far up. And for those that have those other drones that sends back data to the remote control, you can look at the telemetry and see, and when it's there about 30-35%, make sure your drone is at a good not too far distance from you, and also make sure that it is not too far up. That way, if you lose track of the percentage and your drone drops down, it's not going to damage itself or hurt somebody or damage property or some other person's stuff. Okay, And let's move on to the sixth one, which is hitting objects while flying. Some people fly and think that they are above a power line, and before they know it, they hit the power line, or they hit small branches, or they hit a wall. And most of that is caused by some people trying to fly while they do not have a proper view of the drone. You must fly line of sight, and even if you're doing FPV, you must make sure that you have the proper training for doing that. And by the way, FAA requires that you do not fly your drone when you cannot see it, or higher than 400 feet. So make sure that you can always see your drone, you understand what orientation it has, and once you start flying, make sure that you learn to turn on one angle first, and once you master turning on that angle before going to the other angle, and make sure that you understand what orientation. It is very important. And the last mistake that I've seen a lot of my friends do is landing too fast. With the VIVITAR Aero drone, it is easy to land. Once you know that you are at about 7 minutes, you bring your drone back to where you are, then you can fly again maybe for a minute, and then put it at a safe place, safe height, and then you simply hit the landing gear, which is on the right side underneath your remote control. Once you hit the landing gear, you see the craft hovers and then brings itself down gently, and then it lands perfectly. But what I've noticed some of my friends do is they try to bring the drone down and land land it while still in full power, or still while throttling. That only causes damage. You damage your landing gear, you could damage the rudder, it will tumble over, or maybe some other incident might occur. But it's always good to follow the procedures that the manufacturer has prescribed. Bring your drone closer to you, safe distance from you, hit your landing gear, it hovers a little bit, then it descends and it lands safely. So I know there are other common mistakes that people make, but for now I think that these are the 7 most important mistakes to avoid, and which are quite easily avoidable when flying a VIVITAR Aero drone. So please make comments below, subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.